Prince Harry and Meghan Markle may spend more time in Britain, but if that happens, the biggest question may not be where they live. It may be what happens when Harry is once again closer to the family he left behind. Because for years, distance has separated Harry from his father, his brother, and the royal family. But distance can sometimes hide difficult questions. What happens when that distance disappears? Could Prince Harry and Prince William ever find a way back to each other? Could King Charles finally get more time with his son and grandchildren? And could Harry ever have a place in royal life again? The answers are far more complicated than they appear. And behind all the headlines is one simple truth. Coming back to Britain is one thing, but coming back into a family is something else entirely. Perhaps no relationship makes this story more emotional than the one between Prince William and Prince Harry. They were once seen as two brothers standing side by side, supporting each other through some of the most difficult moments of their lives. Today, however, their relationship appears deeply strained. And that's why any possibility of Harry spending more time in Britain immediately raises questions about William. Publicly, William has largely avoided responding to the controversy surrounding his brother. And in many ways, that silence may make sense. William is not only Harry's older brother. He is also the future king. Every public reaction could become another headline. Every comment could create another controversy. So perhaps silence is not weakness. Perhaps it's simply a way of protecting the future. But privately, that is something only the family can truly know. And this is where the story becomes more human than royal. Because titles cannot erase history. And being brothers does not automatically erase years of hurt. Behind the crowns, ceremonies, and newspaper headlines, this is still a family story. A father and a son, two brothers, and children growing up while their family relationships remain complicated. King Charles could find himself in a particularly difficult position. As king, he has responsibilities to the monarchy. But as a father, Prince Harry is still his son. If Harry and Meghan were to spend more time in Britain, future family occasions could become especially significant. Christmas, private gatherings, or major royal events could all raise the same question. Would simply being in the same place bring the family closer, or make old tensions impossible to ignore? And that's the part nobody can predict. Because reconciliation doesn't happen just because people stand together for a photograph. Real healing takes something much harder. Trust. And trust, once broken, can take years to rebuild. If you enjoy thoughtful royal family stories that go beyond the headlines and explore the human story behind the monarchy, subscribe to the channel, because the future of this family could be more complicated than any headline suggests. Another important part of the story is the silence from William and Catherine. Neither needs to publicly explain every decision or react to every rumor. And perhaps that's exactly why their approach matters. The royal family has continued to move forward over the years. Other members have taken on responsibilities, and the monarchy has adapted. That creates a new reality for Harry. The institution he left is not frozen in time. It has changed. So even if Harry spends more time in Britain, returning to the country would not necessarily mean returning to the same role he once had. And that brings us to one of the biggest questions of all. Could Prince Harry ever play a more formal role connected to the royal family? Right now, there is no confirmed indication that this is about to happen. But the question continues to attract attention. Harry has a military background and has spent years supporting veterans and charitable causes. Some people may wonder whether there could ever be a role for him in those areas. But any future arrangement would be complicated. The monarchy has continued without Harry and Meghan. Other royals have stepped forward. And the royal family has found a different balance. So the question isn't simply whether Harry could return. The more difficult question is, what kind of return, if any, could work for everyone involved? Because there is a huge difference between being a member of a family and being a working member of the monarchy. Meghan's future would bring another layer to this story. Over the years, speculation has surrounded possible professional projects and career opportunities. But speculation should never be confused with confirmation. What is certain is that any major decision Meghan makes would attract enormous attention. And if she spent more time in Britain, that attention would become even more intense. Every appearance would be analyzed. Every family event would be discussed. Every interaction could become a headline. That is the reality of being connected to one of the world's most famous families. But perhaps the biggest challenge would not be public attention. It would be finding a way to move forward without reopening the same conflicts again and again. And that may be easier said than done. At the heart of this story is one question that no royal commentator can truly answer. Can this family heal? Can a father and son rebuild trust? Can two brothers find a way to speak openly again? And can people move forward without pretending that the past never happened? Nobody outside the family knows. But perhaps reconciliation is often misunderstood. It doesn't always begin with a dramatic reunion. Sometimes it starts with something much smaller. Private conversation. A willingness to listen. A decision not to respond with anger. Or simply being willing to take the first step. If Harry and William ever find a way forward, it may not happen in front of cameras. It may not come with a palace announcement. And it may not look anything like the public expects. Because the most important moments in a family are often the ones the public never sees. So, if Prince Harry and Meghan do spend more time in Britain, the real story may not be about houses, security, royal events, or headlines. It may be about something much more personal. What happens when a family that has spent years apart is suddenly brought closer together again? Harry may be physically closer to his family. But physical distance was never the only thing standing between them. Years of hurt cannot disappear overnight. Trust cannot be rebuilt with one photograph. And forgiveness cannot be demanded by the public. But there is still something deeply human about this story. Because no matter how famous a family becomes, people still understand the pain of conflict. And the hope that one day, broken relationships might find a way forward. Prince Harry may be able to return to Britain, but perhaps the harder journey has never been about returning to a country. Perhaps it has always been about finding a way back home. And if you want to know what could happen next between Prince Harry, Prince William, and the future of the royal family, watch the next video on your screen now.